What's up, Cardfighters? Ryan here from Vanguard Central. Welcome back to another episode of our budget deck series. This is a long requested video that people have been wanting, so we're going to go ahead and get it started up again right here for you guys. Today for our budget deck series we have Ripples. Ripples have been a pretty dominant deck back in the day, simply because of this guy right here, Odysseus. But since he got nerfed, the deck has been slowing down, but it's helpful now since it's now a kind of like a budget friendly deck that's still pretty powerful and really fun to play. So with the revival of our budget deck series, for starters I'm going to go ahead and start doing this new small annotation on the side, just so that you can see what kind of costs are being added and how much the deck is going to end up being for you in the end. Just a quick disclaimer, everything that is priced around now is going to be at the time that this video was made and uploaded, so prices may vary depending on support and the time that you are watching it. But enough rambling on, let's get right into this budget deck profile on Ripples.
Stand up, Vanguard!
Starting with our starter, we are playing starting Ripple Alex, of course, since this is the Ripple ride chain. You want to be able to use Alex to get that ride chain started because it's going to help you get flowing in the game. Starting with our grade 3s, we got our main boss, starting Ripple Miltiades. Miltiades is all around just an extremely great card, considering that he has an unflip engine, draw power, as well as fueling himself for the Legion plays. And we're playing 3 copies of Genovius. Genovius is actually the most expensive card in this deck, so we're pretty happy that we don't actually have to play that 4th copy in order for this deck to run well. Being able to use Genovius's limit break is just really great also. For this deck, playing 7 grade 3s is totally fine, simply because you're going to be relegioning, and all your mates are going to end up in the soul, and you're going to be able to go ahead and soul blast them out with a couple of grade 1s that we have. Moving on to our grade 2s, we are of course playing Pavroth, since this is the Ripple ride chain. Pavroth is amazing as a grade 2 Vanguard, just simply because he is a 10k base defensively, and also he has that nice pressure where if you do hit, you're going to go ahead and stand another rear guard and give it plus 3k. So as long as you have the ride chain pulled off. Following Pavroth, we have 4 copies of Unruly Ripple Lapis. I really like Lapis in this deck simply because his plus 3k does stack. It doesn't really proc more than twice, but it's still a really neat skill simply because he can hit Vanguard by himself. And next I got 3 copies of Limpia. I chose to go with Limpia for this deck instead of Milos simply because I feel like she has a little bit better advantage towards hand plays, and she can also swing at Vanguard by herself. That's why I chose her. And this deck doesn't counterblast too much simply because Miltiades does unflip for himself, so it's nice to make use of that spare counterblast that you have with some extra draw power and extra attack since it does swing for 12 on the 3rd wave. Moving on to our grade 1s for this budget deck profile, we are playing the 4 Light Elemental Sunnies. Elemental Sunnies are a promo that you can actually grab anywhere, and I feel like it's just good in any budget deck simply because if your deck's not rolling and you have the G assist, then this one is going to go ahead and get that extra card back. You know, unfortunately your opponent gets to draw 2, but it still helps you out a little bit in the long run. And Light Elemental Sunny is just that Cray Elemental PG that I think I'm going to be using for all budget deck profiles. But if you guys don't like Sunny, there are some cheap variants where each clan now has a cheaper perfect card, but I just felt like playing Sunny in this one. Next we got 4 copies of Silent Ripple Tutorial. Simply because this is the Ripple ride chain like I said, and he is at 8k base by himself, which is great defensively. And then we got 2 copies of the Dude that got banned simply because he was just too good in this deck. There's a reason why this deck was amazing, and it was because of Odysseus. Even at 2, Odysseus does a lot of damage, and it's great now since this deck is so accessible, being a budget variant now. Following Odysseus, we have 2 copies of Battle Siren Stasia. Now even though this is more of a Legion based deck, I liked having Stasia as a little bit of a backup since G-Guards are now available to us. G-Guards are going to go ahead and get us that GB1 active, and Stasia is going to help out our Limpia plays as well just by having that extra first attack swinging from the back row. Next we got 2 copies of the Lightsaber Penguin Soldier, simply because you're going to have a lot of soul after relegioning so many times, and also you're going to end up losing those mates like I said. And so soul blasting out those mates and extra cards are going to help you a lot. And then I got 1 tech copy of the Seagull Soldier. The reason why I'm playing the Soldier is because it's a great one-of that you can actually get back if you end up pulling off its skill on the wave 4. But not only that, but it's the fact that he can soul blast as well, just in case you do run out of mates or you need some extra card from your soul that you want to put back into your deck. And also his first ability is really great when rushing also because that plus 3k can be done early game as well. Moving on to our trigger lineup, we are of course playing 8 crits, 4 of them being the Ripple Orest. Oris is a great card just because it helps you filter out the deck a lot. 4 draw and 4 heal. I decided not to go with Malika's the draw trigger, that is basically the Margot clone, and also the Supersonic Sailor, just because those little numbers do add up a lot since each of those triggers cost about $1 to $2. Whereas this one they're about like 10 cents depending on your local card shop. Moving on to our G zone, we are running 4 copies of Ripple Prodromos. Prodromos is actually not that terrible of a card simply because his on hit does have a lot of pressure where you can get those multi-attacks off pretty well. Now even though this is a Legion based deck, it's nice to have the ability to stride just in case you have nothing else better to do. And next we got 2 copies of Aristotle. Aristotle's there just in case you want to kill off some pesky units because, you know, Ripples doesn't have a lot of control compared to Thavis, but Aristotle's going to go ahead and get us there. And then next we got 1 copy of Titleboard Dragon, just in case things are like kind of not really rolling your way. You want to go ahead and get that free draw on the on hit. And then we got 1 Madu. Madu is not as pricey as it was before. I think it's running at about like $2-3, so this is still going to help out a lot just running 1 copy. And the next 4 slots are actually open to anything. For this one, I'm actually just running Blizza and Atmos since they are just cheap crate elementals that we can just throw in the deck, and their skills can come in handy if the situation ever needs it. And the next 4 slots are going to be your G guards basically. Harmonix Messiah is just there because I'm just letting you guys know that you can play whatever G guard you need to. You can just play the regular basic one that came in the Fetish collection, or you can go ahead and throw in the Dismal and Screw, or whichever ones that you guys can actually afford. Thanks for watching, guys. That was our Ripple budget deck profile. Let me know what you guys think down below. If there's any changes that you think you can make to the deck and stay well within budget, leave a comment down below, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this new episode. We're going to go ahead and start bringing back the budget deck series as often as we can. So if you guys have any ideas on budget decks, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what kind of budget decks you guys want to see here on the channel. So like I always say, like our videos, comment down below if you guys have any questions, and subscribe for more content. Vanguard Central out.